Wouldn't it be great to know what your dog is thinking? It's a question every dog owner has asked. But actually, deep down, most owners feel like they already do know. They look in their dog's eyes and they just know. But for scientists, just knowing isn't quite enough. This story really begins with a neuroscientist named Gregory Berns and a dog named Newton. Newton was a pug and lived to be 15 years old. When he passed away, it left a hole in Berns' life, but it also sparked an idea. Berns had spent decades using MRI machines to study the human brain, looking at how people make decisions and what motivates them. He realized he had these incredible tools at his disposal. Why hadn't they been used on animals? We know animals have feelings. We know they have motivations similar to humans. But in the scientific community, this was often treated as a taboo subject, relying heavily on behaviorism. Since Pavlov, the rule has been, you can't ask a dog what they think. You can only observe what they do. But humans are tricky. We anthropomorphize. We project our own feelings onto our pets. Berns wanted to move past the guessing game. He wanted to see the truth inside the black box. He wanted to scan a dog's brain. Here was the problem. If you've ever had an MRI, you know the drill. It's tight, it's loud, and you cannot move. Not even a millimeter. How do you get a dog to go into a magnetic tube, put their head in a coil, and hold absolutely still, without sedating them? Because that was the rule. The team treated these dogs like family. No anesthesia, no restraints. They had to do it because they wanted to. Enter Callie, a terrier mixed shelter dog from the Humane Society. And frankly, she wasn't exactly the most obedient dog, but she had one huge thing going for her. She really, really liked hot dogs. Berns teamed up with a dog trainer named Mark Spivak and used clicker training. It's basically a game. The dog takes a step toward the tube, click, hot dog. Puts her head near the coil, click, hot dog. They also worked with Mackenzie, a super smart border collie. Within 5 minutes, she was sitting in the coil. But sitting isn't enough for an MRI. You need statue-like stillness. Then came the noise. MRI scanners are about 95 decibels. That's like standing next to a jackhammer. They had to get the dogs used to the sound using recordings, and even hook them up with custom doggy earmuffs. It took months of practice. But eventually, they moved from the simulator to the real deal, and with MRI time costing about $500 an hour, this was quickly becoming the most expensive dog training session ever. On the day of the first scan, the humans were nervous. They were confused. But Callie? She hopped right up. She knew the drill. She had her earmuffs on, her head wrap, and she settled right into the chin rest. So, what were they looking for? They started with something simple, Pavlovian conditioning. They taught the dogs two signals. One meant hot dog. The other meant no hot dog. If this worked, the reward center of the brain should light up for the first one, but stay dark for the second. Before we check the results, you gotta understand the anatomy. A dog's brain is about the size of a lemon, maybe a plum. It's way smaller than ours, mostly because they don't have that massive folded cortex humans have. But the primitive parts, the brainstem, the cerebellum, they're actually super similar. Darwin predicted this 150 years ago. If we share feelings, we must share brain structures. And boom, there it was, the caudate nucleus. This is the dopamine center. In humans, when this area lights up, it means something good is happening. Let's go. When Callie saw the hot dog signal, her caudate nucleus went wild. Do dogs love us? Okay, cool. Science proves dogs like hot dogs. Stop the presses, right? But that was just the warm-up. Now the team could ask the real question. Do they actually love us? Or are we just giant food dispensers? They did a study on smell. They let the dogs sniff the scents of strangers, other dogs, and their own humans. Turns out, that reward center, the same hot dog loving part of the brain, lights up like crazy when a dog smells their favorite human. Even when that human isn't in the room, it means they're keeping a mental picture of their owners in their heads. They remember them. They miss them. But here's the twist. They did the hand signal experiment again, but swapped who gave the signal. Sometimes it was the owner, sometimes a stranger, sometimes a computer. The results showed that dogs have totally different personalities. Some, like the golden retrievers, lit up most for their owners. But Berns' own dog, Callie, her reward center fired more for strangers and computers than for him. A bit of a blow to the ego? Sure. but it gave them a neural biomarker for personality. This discovery is huge. The team is now working with canine companions for independence. Training service dogs is pricey and tough. About 65% of dogs drop out. By scanning their brains, they hope to predict which puppies have the right personality to make it as service dogs, saving time, money, and helping more people get the help they need. This started as a stupid dog trick, just a curiosity about a pug named Newton, but it turned into a window into the minds of our oldest friends. Dogs were the first domesticated animal. When we look at their brains, we're looking back in time. We're seeing the biology of the bond that connects us. So, do we know what they're thinking? Maybe not every single thought, but we know they're thinking about us, and we know that they love us.